shall now move on to the next submission. So the next submission is by our guest speaker, Daniel Koehler. So I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest speaker, Daniel Koehler, who is a specialist in the field of media and law. Mr. Koehler created a legally impeccable and technically sensible solution with all major German TV channels on the internet. He negotiated contracts with international players like Google, Facebook, Spotify, Apple, and Netflix.
Thank you so much for the introducing of myself. So yes, I come out of the media field, and I work for different big televisions in Germany and Switzerland. And I had a lot of contracts to make for musicians, for copyright with Netflix and Apple and Facebook and TikTok and all this world. So my profession is between technique and law. My topic today is the legal regulation as data protection, but also on the other hand, the free flow of information in a virtual digital world. And believe me, the big tech entities all about the world, as Apple or Facebook, they have a lot of plans in the pocket. But first, we have this data protection in the EU. You maybe heard of it. It's quite good because it's new. And the newest thing is that it is a protection of every EU citizens, no matter where the global company is based. We had this bad experience here in the European Union that our nice country, Ireland, and believe me, I love Ireland, but they had no data protection at all in the last 20 years. And that's the reason why Google and Apple and Facebook and all these big data entities are based in Ireland, in Dublin. And then the EU changed the regulation that it doesn't matter where you are. It could be Bahamas, it could be Panama, it could be Ireland, it could be Switzerland. It doesn't matter as long as you are handling the data of EU citizens, you have to respect the data regulation of the EU. But believe me, it's nice, it's a good try, but it's not perfect. On the other hand, we have some contracts with the United States, between Europe and United States. It's called Safe Harbor and Protection Shield and so on. But all the data, or most of the data of the European citizens are going over to United States to work there and handle there in servers. And we do not really know what's happening there. So it's always also a balancing act between regulation and politics. On the other hand, what's really important for me, and I keep it short, is freedom and influence, freedom of speech. We have a lot of constitutions in Europe and all over the world. There's a freedom of press and prohibition of censorship. And therefore, just as an example, between a lot of other regulations we have in the European Union, the directive of the new media. And this directive tries to regulate the influence for young people, tries to regulate, to separate the content and advertising. So most of what we are enjoying all the day as Netflix and so on, it's full of product placement. The same with other platforms as Amazon. Maybe it's easy, maybe it's really good for some people, but it's product placement. Believe me, all these platforms know more, maybe more about you than your parents. And this directive tries a little bit to regulate all these dangerous things in a digital world. Not perfect, but they try. And here we go. We have always in the law and media world, we have this balancing act between freedom of speech and influencing from big data entities and also politics. We have still in the world, also in Europe, a kind of censorship. So a Russian television was censored in the last month in Germany. We have platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and others. They have their own policy. On the other hand, we do not really know in what direction Twitter will come up with the new regulations to have maybe all open. That's maybe also not the really best way. We will see. And we have also in the media world, sometimes really not an open reporting. And we have global news agencies that are also in the hand of big entities. So at the end, I made a small game. Here we have, you maybe know this movie, this nice movie from the 60s, The Good, the Bad, and the... As I said, we have in this digital world, from a regulation view, from a view of a lawyer like me, of course, we have the good. I also enjoy the platforms as Netflix and Amazon, and Google has a lot of influence. All these platforms, all these digital new things, they have a high potential to help human beings, of course, and it could be used in a good purpose. But on the other hand, and that's one of my professions, I have to work really day for day with that, to see the bad things. And as Elon Musk has a really good working here, it has a higher potential to destroy humanity than an bomb. And that's really, he's speaking for himself. He is a digital man and he makes a lot of money out of Tesla and satellites and Twitter, of course, but there are also some evil endeavors in this digital area we have to face. And then people like me, we come in here to regulate. I made this little play. We are the ugly. We want to regulate something. We want to create. Here I came to my last slide. At the moment, maybe tomorrow I have more ideas, but today I think we need a regulation and authorities. But two things, please be aware: only minimum requirements, and this regulation body must be independent from politics and from all other business entities. And beside, and then I'm finished, beside all these regulations, there is on the other hand always, all over the world, the awareness and the education of the people to handle digital things, digital platforms, mobile phones, and all that. It's the same importance for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Daniel Koehler. Does anybody want to put up some questions or counter
Honorable Sir,
Yes.
we have a response to the submission by the Honorable Member, Dr. Marcus Guderle.
Yes, please, Dr. Marcus.
Yes, thank you. Namaste, Swamiji. Namaste to all participants. And thanks, Dr. Koehler or Daniel Koehler for this nice and really deep presentation. I would like to add something actually to what you have said, and which is very important, I think. This you mentioned that the tech companies like Amazon or Google or Facebook know more about us than our parents, and actually this is a really important fact which we have to take into account when we talk about digitalization. And in order to use the words of Shoshana Zuboff, emeritus professor of Harvard, she said, or she's calling this the capitalized surveillance capitalism, actually, which means that the tech companies are observing our behavior while we are in the internet, and then they are using our data in order to make lots of money, which they just get for themselves. And the crucial thing is that we now depend on the internet just for really small tasks, like for example interfering with our healthcare provider or with our bank account. So we are online most of the day, and all of these data are tracked and used. And it's not only that we are getting like personalized, or that these data are sold to other companies. It's more that it's now called activism, that these data are used in order to manipulate our thoughts and actions. And this is really important, because that also is really dangerous for our democracy. And it's really important, we have to keep in mind digitalization is actually seen as a positive and future-oriented process, or a part of modernization in all areas of our daily life, which should help us to improve things. But at the moment, it's like just taking our very personal data, and the commodity of this whole economy are we as persons and our very personal data. So I would like to recommend for the Global Energy Parliament that we should acknowledge that the autonomy in action and thought is really an important cornerstone for the positive decisions which are beneficial for all mankind. So we have to be aware of our thoughts and our actions. And the ultimate goal for every thoughts and action should be a permanent happiness in every being, as Swamiji also proposes. And we should not forget that humankind is part of nature and everything is interconnected, as also Dr. Dimar mentioned. And so I also can just repeat the resolution from the 7th Global Energy Parliament on sustainable global economy, because it's like something which is interfering economy, law, politics, that the application of subjective and objective integrated education methodology, education for total consciousness, which mediates the awareness of inner and outer wealth and their interdependency, is really important. We should provide this knowledge to every member of society, and it's more important that we also share the knowledge that money is not for the sake of comfort, happiness, or power. That comfort and happiness is defined neither the dimness of the disappearance of consciousness, but it's radiating light. Education about consciousness and energy needs to be given so that these are very clearly understood and measurable. And this education should should not only be given to children, but also to politicians, also to economists, to people who run companies, that there is a positive use of all these techniques and technologies which are developing. And so we could propose that people are no longer traded as commodities, neither as employees nor as their personal data. And we have to establish and train institutions that implement and promote the above points in relation to digitalization and also the I theory. And I think that's comes a bit to your last slide, where you propose also regulation and authorities which are interdependent from politics and companies and economy. And I think the extension of the basic data protection regulation from the EU could be also expanded to other countries. And there should be also a strong regulation of tech monopolies. So in order to stop this unlawful data use and manipulation. So because this is also negative energy when we are manipulated and we don't get it actually. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member Marcus. As we are running out of time, Rohini, can we go forward?
Honorable Sir, we have a few more responses of 1 minute each. So since we are running out of time, we have responses of 1 minute each. So first we have Daniel Koehler, who would like to respond.
Yes.
Okay, I keep it short. Thank you so much, Marcus, for these good words. That I share your opinion. I have really to admit that when I was working 10 or 15 years ago for the Swiss Authority for Regulation of Media and Television, it is not really independent. Sorry for saying this. It depends on politics and on the opinion of the parliament. So yeah, that's one thing. And we have to keep that in mind, that in future, hopefully we have authorities what are really independent. And the other thing, I have another about the education. We have to enforce the education of the young people for all this dangerous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Sir. Next, we have the response by the Honorable Member, Felix.
Actually, Felix's wife, who's also participating, is commenting. But thank you very much for all of the comments and everything that's been discussed so far. I guess I have a question for Mr. Koehler and a question or a comment. And you had mentioned that you think the solution could lie in more regulation and having an independent body. And I would argue that maybe having more regulation isn't necessarily the solution. I think in many parts of the world, whenever there's a problem, we often run to government in order to find a solution. And maybe when it comes to privacy, data protection, digitalization, and so on and so forth, that's not actually the correct approach. Why do I say that? Is because I think in government, a lot of the problems that we face, even if we go there for solutions, have to do with the lack of consciousness of those who are actually in government or in power. So maybe government could be a solution, but not with unconscious leaders.
Honorable Sir, we have another response by Honorable Member Dr. Guido.
Well, my question is quite simple. I heard many times already about personal data and that Google and all these kind of things, Amazon, know more than my parents. But what do they know more than my parents? Because it is not explicit. Now it is quite abstract to me. It is maybe yes, but what is it? Can you answer to that, Mr. Koehler?
Okay, I try to keep it short. first of all, we do not really know what they are doing with our data. So from our view of point, we are really naive. Sorry for saying that. So they know where you are with your cell phone. They know where are you shopping and when. They know what you are shopping. They know what you are searching in the internet. They know what you are sending through Gmail and so on. Yeah. So with all these data, and Marcus could also give me here some examples, he knows that, of course, with all these data, they made then a personal so-called day life of yourself, if they want. But it's a beginning of really something that could offend you in future.
Yes, I would like just to add that every single word you are searching for in the internet is recorded, and it's actually going into the connection with your ID, with your computer ID, with your hard drive ID, with your local ID where you are localized, and everything you are buying, everything you are listening to, or even if you are writing emails, all these things are like collected, and with even more increasing artificial intelligence, it's getting more and more combined, and it's like a huge, let's say, huge digital person of all your interests and your knowledge. And yeah, so it's really it's not really grasp. We can't really grasp which data out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Honorable Sir, we can now move on to the next submission, which is by the Minister for Agriculture, Kumara Hirimburegama.
Yes, most welcome, Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm talking on agriculture because my field is agriculture, especially organic area. Now, most of the speakers talk most of the relevant subjects, relevant matters. It's easy for me to make my presentation shorter. Now, aspects relevant to agriculture. Now, it is more or less agrotechnology. Agriculture has been tightly connected to human culture. That's why the word culture is found in agriculture. Human nature also, human society, and together with all humanity, finally. Because we evolved, and we evolved our humanity also with the agriculture. Human evolution from hunter-gatherers to permanent land settlers in different communities established mainly the food-growing culture with killing animals. Also, we kill and eat animals, and we, humans means we, for our food. The agriculture together with cultural aspects, so we evolved our culture mainly with agriculture. Agriculture together with the cultural aspects. At the same time, we domesticated some useful animals for food as well as for security, our security, and for mechanical health. Because we want to see our humanity is tightly connected to agriculture. It will be the future also because we need food. If there's no food production, we will disappear from this earth. So food production is a number one item, is agriculture or agri-technology or whatever it is. So now humans are developing with the technology. All the technologies, mainly now digitalization is one important area because technologically we try to use everything. And we think we are developing. So it's a relative term. Only humans define it. Humans say we are developed type of people, relatively developed. And we have forgotten most important points. Humans, we are social animals. So from evolution, we just changed from animals, but still we are animals. We should not forget that. And social animals, we can't live alone individually. And in the world, we are connected. Because of the technology, the connection has become more stronger, and we talk about global village. Now we can't even independently survive in one country because all are interconnected because of the modern development of mainly information technology and other digital applications. And we have forgotten a very important part. We are a component of the nature. As animals, humans are one component of the nature, but unfortunately, we are the most cruel and ruthless animals. We have destroyed the nature. We dominated all the animals. We try to change the nature. We think we are developing, but we don't know what will be the future because we think we are developed according to our own standards. We define it, not by other animals, not by other natural forces. So nature, we are part of the nature. We have forgotten that. We should not forget it because if we try to change the nature, nature will change us. Because nature always has a balancing activity. It has been shown by the previous COVID situation. Because we destroyed the nature too much. Then COVID situation controlled us. During that time, animals got some freedom, but we should not forget it. We should continue with agriculture because our cultures developed through agriculture, and still we use the term culture because in the case of tissue culture, monoculture, silviculture, because culture and agriculture are the same, and humanity is the most important point attached to the culture. And we have great contributors to the development of humanity, actually through agriculture. For the future of the mankind, it will be same. And mainly those who are in agriculture directly work with the nature. That's the main point. In the modern world, now majority of world population is still in agriculture because we know poverty. There are few people can be considered as relatively rich financially, but we are not sure whether they are rich in culturally or whether they are rich in their behavior or whether they are rich in ethically. Only financially rich, we humans have wrong assessment. Those who are financially rich are considered as rich, but they should be rich in ethical aspects and always other aspects also. So now when we go to agrotechnology in modern world, even poor countries are changing. They take the examples of rich organizations and talk about agrotechnology. And technology is again another part of same as digitalization. What is technology? Technology is actually is defined as application of knowledge in industry. Then industry is defined as production and marketing. It's from the Oxford Dictionary. There are other definitions also, but these are relevant one for us. Production and marketing. Then marketing is involved in all cases, agriculture, agrotechnology, or digitalization, or whatever it is. We have technology, marketing. Marketing means it's the process done by humans. So humans always use weakness of other fellow humans to sell something. This is a marketing. We know there are a lot of theories, a lot of experts, but finally what they do is use other fellow humans' weaknesses to sell something. It is happening even in agriculture, agritechnology, digitalization, or whatever it is. Now, anyway, all these have become commercial. Now, commercial forces are there. Finally, those who are involved, they need return of investment, ROI. This but mainly they think on only the financial terms. But do they think about satisfaction, recognition? Some people will think it, but main priority is for the financial side. But modern world agrotechnology, any technology, including digitalization, have all these components like marketing. Then marketing is misused mainly. It's by humans again. Now we have problem. Now again, they do marketing in another name called social responsibility. The marketing budget is converted to social responsibility. It will help only few people of the community, but finally is again marketing. So with these commercial forces, now commercial forces are manipulated. As we heard from previous speakers, we see even digital world, things are manipulated. But entire world is affected by these manipulated commercial forces. We can't keep away from it. And we have to face it. Now, agriculture, agrotechnology, or whatever it is, even education, we have to face these commercial forces which are manipulated by people who can do it. But anyway, we have a responsibility, huge responsibility to divert the changes of humanity into good direction. How to do this? We need the application of ethics. Ethical humans, to develop ethical humans, as in the previous sessions I heard, we are going to do something on ethical aspects, because we need strongly develop ethics, ethical behavior of people, especially of future generation. Ethical behavior, we have to give highest priority to develop ethical behavior on future generation. In this case, if they use whatever technology, they have to be ethical. That's the main point I want to highlight, ethics. So the best way is improving the ethical behavior. Now, what is this ethical behavior also we have to understand a little bit. We talk about good and bad, right and wrong, correct and incorrect. But the problem is by legally, by laws, we can't do it. Ethics are coming from our heart. So law cannot do it. We individuals have to develop this ability to decide what is right and what is wrong. Although it is different from society to society, there may be changes. But again, universally, because of the digitalization, we can get information very fast, very quickly, and use all these abilities to develop future generations, not only in agriculture, in all technological areas. I think it's enough at this moment. The topic says maintaining our humanity. It's not maintaining only, it means advancing our humanity, because our humanity is not so advanced now. We are fighting each other. We are the people killing each other. So we have to improve further. We have to advance it. I hope we can advance our humanity. It will be one answer for the future of humankind. Thank you very much.
Honorable Sir, we have a response by Dr. Guido.
Yes, Dr. Guido, please.
I am switching on. Okay. I'm very much interested in what you were saying. Definitely. And in a great deal, I can agree with you. But there is still a question coming to my mind, and I know on many places in my life, I may not talk about that. But it is only last month that we gained over the clip of 8 billion persons on this world. In 1950, we were only 2.5 billion. And you are saying that we are too much asking from nature, although we belong to this nature. And now my question is, can digitalization improve that? And then we are coming to another difficulty. As a member of the Club of Rome, then I can say there's a limit to growth. And then I can only tell we are running out of natural resources, even for digitalization. Our smartphones will not be able soon anymore. That is the problem, in my opinion.
Can I answer?
Yes.
Yeah. because I'm talking about developing the advancing the ethical behavior of people. Then ethical people will not misuse digital systems. So it's a difficult task. Together with law, because we need the law, all the people will not become ethical. So for those who cannot define their own behavior, have to get controlled by law. So, but anyway, majority has to become ethical, including the future generations. Then they will not misuse any technology. So they will think about the poverty, poor people. So they are ethical, but it's not so easy because of the commercial forces. They go for money, making big ROI, return of investment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.